What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? A podcast about life in the music industry. I'm your host, Patrick Tarnowski. With me is my co-host, Matt Reed. And today we've got Steve and Chris from Washington, D.C. band American Television on the show. Friends, welcome.
What's up? Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. It's like everyone just popping in and watching now has got that nice background to just fixate on the whole time. I like to think that my background is also like I wanted to see people trying to see what movies I have.
I've been doing that for the last few minutes, actually.
Nice. So you and me, we're gonna be the focus of this show.
I can see that.
This episode, people are only gonna care about you and me.
It's like a mini Blockbuster and a mini Guitar Center.
I actually have like a mini Blockbuster sign somewhere that says "Be Kind, Rewind."
Hell yeah!
Do you have the Highlander series on VHS?
No, but up there I have the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS, like before it was A New Hope, like the Star Wars.
It's picked up on that Easter egg on the orange amp behind Chris then, huh?
Then I do have some movies that like are Blockbuster cases as well. Anytime I can find one of those, like I snag it.
Nice.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of my little dorkdom there. Part of it. Part of my whole collection of dorky shit.
I think
but
we all have our own little dorky collections that we have to have.
It's true. And you know what? We're like 100 and some episodes in here. They don't care about my dorkiness. They've heard over 100 episodes of my dorky shit. Let's talk about you guys. You just released your latest album, Scars, featuring the singles Bittersweet, Snakes, and Moments. Tell us a bit about the album. How's the release been?
Yeah, it's been album's been great. We put it out through Smart Punk Records.
Yeah.
And they helped us launch some of those videos into the world, and we had a lot of fun creating that content like beforehand. And Chris actually is new to the band, but so our old guitarist plays on the record, but Chris is actually featured in the Bittersweet music video. So it was cool to get him into the fold even before he played a show.
I have to come in and steal all the glory.
And yeah, it's been cool. We had a really great record release show at Comet Ping Pong in DC. And then we hit the road a couple weeks ago, and we're about to go back out this week. So yeah, just doing a little bit of support around the album, and it's been exciting to see people share their thoughts on it and everything. I love it.
Hell yeah! Where are you guys heading out to next year?
Chris, you want to grab that?
Next year, I think at least Target is hopefully getting out towards Chicago area.
I think he said next year, like the next.
Next year, not next year.
Next week.
I thought you said next year. I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about that.
I just kind of like threw that all. It was just a big word jump.
Yeah, no, my bad.
It's me. It's not you. It's me.
I mean, I'll take half of it. No, I think we leave on Thursday, and we're headed up to Brooklyn. Then to Philly, then to York, and then to Baltimore, and then we're coming home.
Fun.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, lots of cool bands along the way, and we're going out with our friends from Baltimore. Their band name is called Over Our Eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, hope for some great shows.
I thought at first when you said Target, I thought you were touring Targets.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is up, Target?
Like to play like isn't that something like U2 did or something like that? They played on the roof of like some like fucking store. I don't know. And it was like big controversy, not controversy, but like this big thing. What? You all just like do a tour of Target roofs.
You should.
We're gonna stand on the big red balls out front, just like rock out.
Yeah,
we just have to infiltrate the network and figure out how to tour all Target stores.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of.
Wasn't U2 the band that like had their new record put on everyone's iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was them.
Yeah,
They're real innovative. They like to push the boundaries of things.
it was pushy, all right.
And
Whatever's
like,
gonna
look,
cause grief, they're all about it.
and like, look, all right, I'm not the biggest U2 fan. They got a couple jams I like. I'm cool with it, but that's the only way I was getting that album. Okay.
It was
Like-
too late in the game, right?
It's the only
In
way I
their
was
album
pay
game.
attention.
Like, I wasn't an avid U2 listener at that point.
Yeah, I don't think I was either. But early stuff's good. Joshua Tree,
Yeah, they had a couple jams.
good stuff.
I can't tell you any of them, but I know that there's like some that like if it comes on the radio, if I happen to be listening to the radio for some reason and it pops on, I'll sing it.
You remember that band Stained? It's
Yeah,
been a while, I think. Was there something?
been
when
a while.
when I was a kid, they played a roof, like you said, in Long Island, and that record store was like 10 minutes from my house. So we used to go there for stuff, and then we heard they were playing, and we were more interested to see what was up because they were just like huge on the radio, and it turned out to be like it was like nut. Like, I mean, I don't care about Stain, never did, but at that point in time, we went. There was like 4,000 people standing in the street. It was insane. So they peaked.
I liked Stained. Like I was a big like new metal fan. I still enjoy myself some new metal, but
Nice.
like I liked Stained. I feel like they were like super interesting though because they were so different than everybody else that was out because all their shit was like slow. Like all of their songs were just fucking slow. And then, and then they went and just started doing like acoustic shit, it seemed like, for a while because, they got that one hit. They're like, well, fuck it. Let's just
I
be
think that's
acoustic.
the only Stained song I could recognize.
Yeah, that's all I
It's
knew.
That Aaron
all I
guy
do
doing
know.
that acoustic jam.
But yeah,
Did he
it's
like
great.
become like a country artist for a little while too? Like acoustic country artist?
news
think-
to me.
I think
That's sort of a path that a lot of folks are taking, I guess.
Matt, what do you know? You got
I
You're not
don't.
on the Stained. You're not on the Stained kick.
you weren't a big Stain fan?
No, Pat. I'm a little younger than you.
Matt, a little younger though. like cool it there, buddy.
Like still born in the 80s at least.
I was born in '90, but
Well, sorry to take us down the Stained path. I don't have any other Stained facts or anything.
That's okay.
But I saw them on a roof.
there we go.
They use
that's
that
cool.
on a roof.
Yeah.
Now, is that like a New York thing? Is it
what
accent like roof?
It's a Midwest thing.
Midwest thing, baby.
We say roof a lot.
Roof?
We're dogs
Roof.
over here. A dog in us.
Yeah. Oh,
I did. So
I like
wait,
that.
hold
It's
on.
the dog
So
in
wait.
us.
So do we say it like rough, like a dog, or like like with the double O, like roof? Like which is the proper one?
I don't think there is a proper. I think it's, Virginia, it's roof.
Yeah, it's roof.
And
Maybe it's East Coast's roof. I don't know.
I
is
don't know.
I feel like
roof everywhere else.
Did I not say roof?
You said roof.
I said roof.
Roof? Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
it's
Fuck
all
it.
good.
Hey, you knew what I was saying.
I was
So,
I
we're
was
good.
there. We're good.
We're good. We're good.
Who are some artists that originally got you guys in the punk rock scene?
That's a good question. I would say like early on for me, I grew up in like the New York hardcore scene. Like I grew up out on Long Island and then spent a lot of time in my mid to late teens going to hardcore shows. So like the bands that ended up pulling me more towards melodic punk were like H2O, and there was a band called Gray Area that I always loved. That was Ernie from Token Entry who formed that band, and just like I loved Civ, who like was this, obviously from Gorilla Biscuits and stuff. So anything that had a little melody is kind of what pulled me a little bit away from the heavier stuff that I was listening to, because it was getting a little violent, and I was like, I want to be in a scene where I don't
I
have
want
to
to be
worry
safe.
about. Yeah, a little bit
I wanna
safe. So yeah, I still love my hardcore bands and stuff, but
Yeah.
those are the bands that kind of pulled me away from it. And then I probably got more into things like Face to Face and you know, just like more into that melodic side of things. I was never really a Fat Records kid or an Epitaph kid specifically. I know that's like an often like a thing that comes up in debate, but mostly like local punk rock was kind of what I started going to, because at the time in Long Island, I mean, it was just going off. There was a lot of like emo and other like melodic stuff happening. So one of my favorite bands from Long Island at the time was definitely the Movie Life. Huge fan of the Movie Life, and at that point in time,
Movie Life was awesome.
What about you, Chris?
What about you?
I had an uncle when I still have an uncle, but when I was younger, my uncle David got me into a bunch of DC stuff, Minor Threat specifically. And I had a couple of friends in the neighborhood when I was like, I don't know, like 13, that were like super into all this stuff, and it was like brand new to me. So I had like Minor Threat, and then I somehow caught wind of like NoFX, Offspring, things like that. And then to Steve's point, once Fat Records got a hold of me, like it was over. I fell in love, and I've never looked back. Like musically, like Strung Out has been like a huge influence, and there's definitely like Sick of It All and H2O. Like I still love like all the hardcore stuff too. But I think my heart truly lies with the Fat Records, like West Coast melodic stuff.
Sure.
And just to throw it out there, even now, like Canada and Australia have kind of taken that torch, and they've been running like Thousand Islands in Canada, or they're putting out a ton of good old fashioned stuff like that. And P Records down in Australia does a really good job of keeping that scene alive too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shit coming out of Australia and Canada. Like it's wild. Especially Australia. I think Australia is wild to me because anytime I get a submission from a band in Australia, I immediately just I assume it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way it's pans out. Now, not every time that's not the case, but if I see Australia, I'm like, yo, good, check this out.
Yeah,
that's a fair assumption.
Phosphorus Bombs. I think they're an Australian band. They kind of came across my Spotify feed, and I started digging into it. It's pretty awesome. Really good stuff.
I'll have to check that out. So one of the things I had come across that I was pretty stoked about is I saw in 2018 you released your own signature coffee with Weird Brothers Coffee to coincide with your singles Death to Fire in the Creek.
Yeah.
What made you want to make your own coffee, and is it still available?
So we don't sell it. This shop might still sell it. But we did do like sometimes we brought it back. I say we brought it back like maybe like a year later in 2019 or so. We brought back the coffee and did like a second, like almost I'll call it a second pressing of the coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, what made us want to do the coffee? You know, oddly enough, we were just like we had recorded 2 singles, and Death to Fire was the B-side of that digital release. So we had The Creek and Death to Fire, which are actually both on the Scars album. They never got a proper release, so we wanted to like give them an album to live on. So we put those as the last song on each side of the record. But yeah, like we thought Death to Fire was a cool name for a coffee, straight up. Like that's what started it, was like, oh, that's a cool, like a dark roast or something like that. And Brian, our drummer, this coffee shop had just opened in his neighborhood called Weird Brothers. And so he was in there one day, and he was like looking at the artwork on the bags, which was mostly Star Wars driven stuff. And he was just kind of like, you know, would you ever do a collab with a band? And he's like, I mean, we're new, we're down for whatever. So Paul from Weird Brothers had us come in, and we like tasted 3 or 4 blends that he had come up with, and we ended up going luckily enough with the darker roast. So yeah, like that ended up being, we did pre-orders at that time, and we did like 300 bags of coffee in pre-order. people were
Great.
psyched on it. And then right after we did it, it was like Descendants, Flatliners, like all these bands started doing Coffee. Like, and I was like, shit, we're at like the cusp of something there. I mean, we're
You're
not
a
as
trendsetter.
yeah. I don't know if they were looking at us, but we definitely noticed when they started doing it. And so yeah, we did about, I want to say we did like 300 bags, which is crazy, and then we did like another 150 the second time we ran it. So if you're thirsty for coffee at some point, maybe we'll put it back out.
There we go. There we go.
Nice.
I do like my coffee, so
I'm learning about all of this for the first time right now, and I'm now on their website because you said they were like Star Wars graphics, and now I'm gonna buy a bunch of their coffee.
Yeah, the new guy you can live all these stories vicariously through podcast conversation.
If you paint something up Star Warsy, dude, I'll buy it. I don't care what it is.
there you go.
Nice.
Since you all are a DC-based band, we thought it'd be appropriate to ask, what band would you have rewrite the national anthem if you had the choice?
Darkest Hour.
Yeah, Mike could definitely rip that shit in half. Man, I would say just because we've been on a little bit of a Fugazi kick as a band recently, probably Fugazi would make it. They'd slow it down, but there'd be some ripping bass lines in there, so I'd be for it.
Nice.
I mean, it's not like a. Well, I mean, they rewrite it. They do their own thing. Whatever they want to do.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't want to cover the national anthem, but they didn't have a say in this.
Probably not. You know, I honestly feel like the Descendants would do a great national anthem. I feel like it would be very true and honest.
Yeah, they do. Well, they have their song "Statue of Liberty," which is pretty good. That could just be a replacement for the national anthem.
Fun. Work smarter, not harder.
I'm in.
We already got it.
It's like the birthday song. It's like, are the rights available to the birthday song at this point? Like, I don't know.
Got to be in the public domain at this point.
Is it at this point?
Oh, it has to
So
be.
when does the national anthem become public domain, or has it always been public domain? I have no
I
idea.
think it's definitely public domain.
Yeah.
It's like,
isn't it something like pre-1920 or something?
well, it's 100 years. So like, so I was like, before we actually started this podcast, the me and Matt were talking about that Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain because they made a horror movie called
Yes.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and that's what me and my wife are watching tonight. So I'm getting ready. I'm trying to pregame. You know, you got to be in a spot for a movie like that.
That is awesome.
You can't go into a cry.
I've been trying to since we're leaving for the road on Thursday, we've never watched a movie in the van before, but I have this old iPad that I'm going to charge up, and I've been eyeballing this movie. It's called New York Ninja. So
yeah,
you know it. Oh
no, I only know it because one of my favorite podcasts is a show called How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there we go.
1984, lost footage, re-edited and overdubbed in 2021. It looks like a steaming pile of shit, but like I kind of sometimes want to watch those movies.
No, I get a great kick out of those kinds of movies. Like one of my favorite movies like that is a movie that me and my wife watch every single year in November. You gotta watch Thanksgiving. If you haven't watched Thanksgiving, you need to.
It's a holiday movie.
It is a holiday movie, and it boasts that there's boobies in the first minute of the film, first 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
My older boy is like super into like anime stuff right now, and I started watching.
Gonna be like,
well,
me too.
Yeah. Well, I told him I came up. I was working out this morning. I watched the first episode of Blue Eyed Samurai, and I came upstairs and I was like, dude, I just started watching the show and it's super awesome. Like, I think you're at a good age for it. There's some blood in there. There's lots of fighting. He's creeping up on 13 and he's like, cool. And I was like, oh yeah. And just, there's also boobies in there. He was like, never mind. Nope. I don't watch
Tapped
it.
out.
Yeah. So, I guess he's probably not going to watch it, but I told him he could.
Sure. Me and my son have been going through all of Dragon Ball Z right now.
Oh,
and
shit, cool.
It's a trek, you know. It's a marathon.
We just
Yeah, that's like decades of anime, right? Dragon Ball Z was a long time.
We just watched episode 200. So
Holy Christ.
and we don't watch like the Dragon Ball Z Kai. Nah, screw that. We watched the original. The original with like all of the filler in it. You know, like there's an entire episode of them just building like a spirit bomb thing, doing jack shit. We watched the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got to put in the hours so it pays off on a big episode, right?
You gotta earn it.
How old is your son?
He is 10.
Okay. Does he ever give you any crap about like older animation or anything?
No, because
That's awesome.
I mean, to be fair, he started out watching like the original Ninja Turtles and He-Man.
Hell yeah.
With me. Like I started him off with the classics.
I brought home all the He-Man, the whole series on DVD. I found it for like $4. And I was like, dude, I'm going to change your life. Have a seat. And we got halfway through the first episode. He was like, their mouths look weird when they're talking. And they move when they're not talking. I'm out of here. I was so disappointed.
Oh, yeah. We have you guys tried watching like the new He-Man cartoons though?
Yeah.
Both are bomb. Both are great.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Netflix, right? I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, Kevin Smith did those.
Well, the Kevin Smith one cool. And then the one that was made for kids is also awesome.
Maybe I missed one of them.
Yeah, there's two completely separate shows. One is the He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations, and then there's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and it's a completely different show. And it's like a retelling of it, because it's not the same, but it's still awesome.
Ah, cool. I might have to go back and check my memory on that.
You'll have to. There's 2 seasons of that one. It's good.
Nice.
It's good stuff. Back to music, though.
Right, yeah. No, I didn't mean
to.
We can be geeky all day. That's cool.
I'll go down this rabbit hole with you anytime.
I got to give Matt something to talk about. This is not his forte. He doesn't sit and watch He-Man in the middle of the night like I do.
Let's go.
Which is fair. It's fair. So y'all started as a band in about 2014, playing one of your first shows at the CD Cellar in Arlington, Virginia, January 2014. How would you say the band has changed since those early days?
Oh, wow.
Obviously, Chris is the band.
Yeah, I'm the only original member of that lineup. So we've changed a couple times. It seems like the tenure of our guitarist is about 5 years. And then they moved somewhere. So we had our first guitarist moved to Italy. And when he left, the night he left, Jared, the guitarist who played on both our albums, he was at our show, at Matt's last show. And so Matt was like, you should try this guy out. And we actually did. And he ended up being in the band for 5 years. And recently moved to Ohio, and then Chris joined. So Chris, it's 2023, so you have till 2028 to put a bow on this thing.
I'll tell Amanda that we're out of here for 5 years.
Nice. But yeah, sonically, I think like, with that initial lineup, we were like, there was a lot more folks that were, I had just moved to Virginia and it was about a year into me living here. And I was just trying to find the right fit, and the folks that I started linking up with were more into like alternative rock and stuff like that. Not a lot of punk rock background, not a lot of the same reference points as me.
Sure.
So like I had written these songs, and then they got a little bit more swingy and like kind of alternative-y. And then like fast forward, we meet Jared, and we kind of found like more of that like Midwestern pop punk sound, like a little bit faster, D4, you know, direct hit, stuff like that, copyrights, and just kind of got a little bit more into the wheelhouse of what I imagined the band to be. So, but yeah, now that Chris has joined, like it's a new chapter, right? Like we've got a different style of playing, and we're starting to write a little bit and try to figure out what that looks like. So, you know, the one thing that I always believe is important is like make sure your goals are aligned, like as a band, because you know if somebody wants to be a rock star, I don't think any of us can do that. We're all in our 40s. So, but you know, if someone wants to have different dreams, like it's harder to stay a band for so long. So being that this is our like 10th year or coming up on our 10th year, you know, I think a lot of that has to do with just making sure our goals are aligned and that like we're comfortable, you know, that when someone new joins, that the sound will probably evolve to some degree. So yeah, I'm happy with where we're at, very much so.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I've had individual conversations with all three other members in secret, and we're all aligned that it's about to get way faster.
Mr. Fat Wreck over here. He likes that fat beat.
There you go. It's got to get that like speed bass in there and stuff. Pull some Fat Mike moves out.
What's the alternative music scene like in DC?
Well, we've got some friends who play more of like an artistic form of punk rock. So I don't know if you were familiar with Bacchae or Bad Moves, but a little bit like poppy keyboards, you know, a little bit artsy. I always call it kind of more like the art punk scene. So yeah, there's a lot going on and in that space, and there's a lot of which I've seen like across all of punk rock, which is a great thing. There's a lot more representation of people of color and women and queer folks, like being the front people of bands, and like DC being sort of the epicenter of punk rock that it was. It's really cool to see that like the scene is evolving in different ways. We are 4 white dudes, and we've you know that's the band makeup. It just happens to be that way. So it's really awesome to see that like the bills across DC are becoming way more diverse, and you're seeing that change in the crowd too, because you know as people become more represented, like it starts to change what that scene looks like. And I feel like at this point in time, DC and beyond, the scene is more inclusive than it has ever been. I think there was a lot of like, you know, a lot of belief of equality and representation, but not really seeing that in the 90s. And now you're kind of we've actually reached a point where we're seeing a lot more diversity. And I love seeing that in DC for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. So we got one more question before we go to a quick break. If you could give our listeners a piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew when you were first starting your journey, what would that be?
Don't quit.
I mean, yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't
fucking do it.
Maybe I said it a moment ago. Just align on your goals.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get frustrated when somebody else is not giving as much as you, or is expecting more of you, and you're trying to balance things. Like it's really important to, you know, align on your goals, and then also have a little bit of willingness to flex because life changes. So, you know, just like it's important to evaluate those things throughout the journey of your band. So yeah, just kind of align on goals.
Absolutely. You know, and even being able to flex on, you know, on like musical ideas as well too.
Yeah. There's always conversations about how something sounds in the room versus how it'll sound recorded, or like what your vision is for that song. And you have to really learn to give a little, and, you know, take when you can and give when you need to. But to add more context to the don't quit, I stopped playing music for over 10 years when my wife and I were starting our family. And I think it's something that I dearly missed that entire time I was out of it. And looking back at it now, I feel like I had my priorities, correctly aligned for sure. But I think there were ways to keep me. Oh, I'm the host of this meeting now. There were ways to keep myself like somehow connected to music that I like, opportunities that I didn't take.
Sure.
And now that I'm back into it, after a long hiatus, I quickly learned how much I missed all of this, like going to shows, making music, hanging out with friends, and just playing songs. Like there's so many good times to be had that if you get frustrated or your priorities, change, there's so many things that you miss out on if you don't keep that in your life.
Totally.
Chris, like, we're playing shows with bands he's never heard of, and a lot of times, like, we already have those connections a little bit, so it's really cool to see him. We're like, oh, this show's with $500 in Philly, and he's like checking them out. He's like, they're sick. It's like, I'm so stoked. And then we're playing with Moonraker in California, and he's like super pumped about Moonraker.
When
it's
that
like
record came out, oh my god,
it's like cool to see somebody who is getting back to like what's active, like not just the bands that we all get pumped to us by a playlist. I just love seeing him get excited about that.
That's actually a really good way of thinking about that. I hadn't really thought that yet, but yeah, I am being introduced to a lot of new bands, not because I don't actively seek stuff out, but just because it's like a totally new sort of scene to me. Like it's a new group of friends, like new everything. So yeah, I am getting like this sort of like giddy little kid experience out of this. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. I'm sure, Steve, for you, that's like sometimes we get kind of caught in our ways a little bit, and then it's the ability to maybe take a step back and be like, oh, this is exactly what I felt like 10 years ago when I was in this scene.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to stay on top of modern music, but like, there's so much that comes out in a year, like you miss things all the time. And it's like, I love that. There's another tip for folks, just like be unabashed and reaching out to people. Like most people are trying to make things happen and coordinate themselves. So if you reach out to a band, like you now have a connection and you will find ways to like play together, whether it's in your own city or some other city. And so like, that's really, it's easy to get, let's say, jaded, like if you keep getting that no, like sorry, we're unavailable, but like know that like those connections, like they are important, and that's how you network up and down your coast and across the country. So yeah, it's cool to see Chris get excited about all this stuff, and it gives me energy to see it too.
Hell yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So with that, we're gonna end on that. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with our next segment.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? My hands going crazy. Diazable Apparel is an apparel brand based out of San Antonio, Texas, and Seoul, South Korea. Diazable makes some rad clothing, though. And if you're like me, and 90% of your wardrobe is black band tees or a black shirt that shows off how funny and awesome you are, then they got you covered. I mean, how can you go wrong with the pizza-themed shirt that says, "It ain't easy being cheesy"? That's just rad as hell. They make products with you in mind. If there are designs that you'd like to see, let them know. They'll listen. And most importantly, they want to support you to do the things that you love. No matter where you are in life, take that first step. The rest will come together when it needs to. That first step is always the hardest. Visit them at www.diazable.com. Pick something up, show your support. Also, give them a follow on Instagram to stay up to date on new items and events at Diazable Design. That's DIAZABLEDESIGN. Thank you so much again to Diazable Apparel for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get into it, see what Goalkeeper's up to.
I hate to break it to you, but
looks matter. Now, not in the way you think I mean it, but when it comes to logos and shirt designs, you don't want your logo to look bad. Whether you run a business or play in a band, design is quite probably not your thing. And that's okay, because luckily, at Shed and Shred Studios, design is all they do. With almost a decade of experience, Shed and Shred Studios is dedicated to working directly with clients to create the best visual products in the industry, tailored to optimize recognition of your name amongst competitors in your specific market space. If you're in need of logos, visual branding, shirt graphics, or marketing material, Shed and Shred Studios has got you covered. So visit Shed Shred MD for more info. Once again, that is SHEDSHREDMD.com for more info. And hey, while you're there, use code GET10 for 10% off at checkout when buying pre-made designs and merch from their web store.
And we're back. It's time that everyone's been waiting for. It's time for the Food for Thought segment, where we're going to talk about food and food adjacent questions, hard-hitting journalism questions.
This is the hard-hitting journalism for sure.
Absolutely.
Yummy.
And I like that you threw in that food adjacent, because this one we did food adjacent.
So
I'm ready.
Want me to hit him off with the first one, Pat?
You hit him with that first one.
Since DC is our country's capital, we thought it'd be good. If pizza is the president of pop punk and tacos are the vice president, who would be the Speaker of the House?
Yeah. This is a tough one. It's not easy. But those first two were the very obvious choices.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't say. I said pho.
Oh, pho.
Oh,
Yeah.
pho.
All right.
Not fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's just,
It was like a Christmas story. Oh, fuck.
only I didn't say fudge.
Well, that's not.
I'm gonna go like kebabs, like Mediterranean kebab. That's my jam. So
Nice.
Okay.
Speaker of the House.
You're thinking real outside of the box for this Speaker of the House.
I need a little worldliness, I think, with it.
There's a lot of variety
Yeah.
here
Pizza.
around this area.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like it.
I like it.
The melting pot.
Yeah, you did good. I think you passed. You passed.
All right.
So
High five.
this is the food adjacent one. So January, right, is the because your episode's coming out in January. So January is the season for New Year's resolutions. So this question is more food adjacent than about food specifically. But many resolutions are about hitting the gym and eating better. With that in mind, what bands would be on your Talk Shit, Get Fit playlist?
I actually think I have this playlist already made from last year's resolutions that I can follow through on.
Just pull it up.
All
Pull
right.
up your Talk
Yeah,
Shit,
you
Get
go
Fit
first.
playlist.
I gotta put a little thought into this. I'm thinking songs that make me want to run.
If you want to run, I think you need to put Raised Fist in your playlist.
Okay.
Some Dragon Force.
Yes. Do I have like a Fat Boy Run playlist? I swear I thought I made.
All right. I've got it. I would go like bands that. So I would say like early Menzingers makes me run. I would say The Loved Ones makes me run, and then probably like Sick of It All. That might make me lift a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, you gotta get some lifting in there.
And then for my cool down, a little Adam and his package.
All right.
think I would go back to the 90s. I think I would do like 10-foot pole, strung out, MXPX even. Just lots of stuff that just doesn't slow down. And then for weights, it might be like Mad Ball and Sick of It All, or maybe Raised Fist.
There you go.
Nice.
Mad Ball. That's a band that scared me out of hardcore.
Did they really?
Or the Newfound Glories like hardcore project they did because of Madball, pretty much. This was it, the International Superheroes of Hardcore.
Then
That does ring a bell. Holy
Yeah.
crap. Yeah, that's a throwback. I forgot.
Yeah.
I remember when I think it was when Call to Arms came out. We were at, I think, Nation in DC for Sick of It All and No Use for a Name, like, which was a weird, wacky lineup. But since Sick of It All was on Fat at the time, it made a lot of sense.
Sure.
I was with my buddy Steve, and like Sick of It All was fairly new to us. And we'd never seen them live. Like, I'd been listening to them for a while, but I'd never seen them. And I remember Steve in this voice was like, I don't know, dude. I heard their shows get crazy. Like, people get really fucked up at their shows. And I was like, well, then let's bail, dude. And so we bailed. And I think to this day, that is like the one like big show regret I have. Like that, I've seen Sick of It All like a dozen times since then, and I've loved every time. And I missed that first one. I missed that first opportunity because we watched No Use play and then we left.
Oh, but I fucking love No Use for a Name though.
Oh yeah,
Loved them so much.
When I saw Sick of It All the first time, it wasn't the first time. I saw Sick of It All at Warped Tour in like 98 or 9 or something like that. And their guitarist threw an SG into the crowd. My friend Sean caught the SG and then the crowd ripped it into pieces. And he was like, "You fucking bastards. That's like a $1,200 guitar." He's stuck with he's got the neck and the body and the pickups and strings are all thrown all over the pit. And I was just like, ooh, he was so fucking mad. Because he was like, I'm gonna get a free SG, but we all know how fragile SG necks are. Chris and I were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
That one's broken.
Yeah.
I had a cat years ago that I named after Pete from Sick of It All. Because when he was a kitten, he would just like spin in circles constantly. And Pete does that shit on stage. So I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I know who you're getting named after.
We got one more food question for you. You've worked with companies before to create coffee, but you are now given the opportunity to create the American television frozen TV dinner line. What goes into it?
Oh, damn. Shout out to Feed the Scene in Baltimore, who actually made TV dinners for one of our shows. That was an awesome show. Rachel, if you don't know Feed the Scene, check it out. They're great. They do a lot for housing and feeding musicians along the way. So quick shout out to them, because they definitely Rachel made a TV dinner at one of our shows for us, for the whole crowd. It was awesome.
Nice.
Oh my God. No, I know that there's gonna be a brownie because TV dinner has like that nice soft gooey brownie in it, so that's definitely gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh man, Chris, put something else in one of those put something else in one of those compartments.
I think it has to have garlic mashed potatoes in it.
Yeah,
Down.
that's a safe one. You know, that's safe
Down for that.
for sure.
Right, so we probably need one more veggie and then our main, which is going to be our hardest thing.
I think we should play for Brian on that and do like a veggie meatloaf.
Cool. Let's do that. Brian will be happy that we're repping that vegetarian lifestyle. And just to throw shade at Brian, we'll do some bacon covered Brussels sprouts.
like a vegetarian meatloaf wrapped in bacon. Makes
Like,
everybody happy, right? That's
what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
What am I supposed to do with this?
creating equity among the band members. Is like,
Well, like if you take the bacon off of it, then it just has the essence of bacon, right? It's okay.
There you go.
I've definitely had vegetarians ask me to cook their veggie burger where a burger was cooked on the grill. This was like 15 years ago in Brooklyn, but I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a vegan, you are not allowed to do that for sure.
I was like, I think that breaks the rules.
Yeah.
There are no rules.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they called that shit out on like the Scott Pilgrim movie. You know? For sure they called that. You lost the vegan card or whatever.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, true that.
Bacon wrap.
I don't remember. I just remember it's like, what are you, the vegan police or something? They're like, yeah, we are.
Bacon wrapped veggie meatloaf.
Bacon wrapped veggie meatloaf. I support this.
Just a we
This-
tried
Ruining.
edition. We tried edition.
We tried it.
It's like my wife was vegetarian for a few years back in her college years, and she went to her grandma's house and she made chicken noodle soup, and she was like, I can't eat this. And her grandma's like, why? She's like, because it has chicken in it. And she's like, yeah, but it's soup. It was just like,
there's still
Different.
chicken.
but yeah, so
Yeah.
we tried.
It's okay. It's fine. Fine.
All right, so
I
where
love it.
are we? We've got mashed potatoes, brownie, vegetarian meatloaf, and what was the last thing?
I just said Brussels sprouts with bacon over them, but if we put bacon on the meatloaf, maybe we should just do
Just regular Brussels sprouts,
sure.
or like,
Yeah, it's a superfood.
or you could do some like asparagus to get some like stinky pee pee.
That happens, and it just happened to me the other day, and it was quick too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like right
The
away.
infusion, like, of the smell went right through me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now,
Asparagus is something I've come around to. It took me a long time to like asparagus. I was like, oh, I like it when there's lots of butter on it. It's like, well, no shit, everyone likes butter, but
Fair.
but yeah, I'm down with a steamed piece of asparagus nowadays. It's taken me 40 plus years to get there, but I'm
I
there.
want asparagus in my TV dinner though.
I was gonna ask,
Matt, but are
we
you also going to
microwaving
buy
this?
a bacon wrapped vegan?
Oh, I
meatloaf?
got it. Chris, we'll do like candied carrots like they have at Boston Market. Those are clutch.
Nice.
That's,
Now,
There you
I was gonna say, like, are we microwaving these, or do we have to put them in the oven and do it right?
I think you could. I think you should be able to have the option.
Okay. In which case, yeah, like, what foods don't, like, I don't know if Brussels sprouts microwave well.
No, they're soggy. I was thinking about those frozen Brussels sprouts. You need fresh
Remember
ones. So
the old-
I'm going carrots, candied carrots,
Yeah, I'm with you.
mashed potatoes, bacon wrapped meatloaf, and a brownie.
There you
It's
go.
pretty close to like a lean cuisine or whatever.
It's pretty close.
The kids' cuisine with the penguins on it and stuff from
Yeah.
back in the 90s.
That's, I always remember, like, I used to have those, and it would be like the Salisbury steak, a brownie, and lima beans or something, and you would microwave it, and everything would be just disgusting except for the Salisbury steak. But the beans and the brownie would just all fuse, and like couldn't even like get a bite off of it.
That's
brownie.
that's called a vegetarian brownie. We got to verify that with Brian, but
Truth.
he's gonna hate us trash talking.
Oh, I'm not trash talking. I envy that style. I wish I could really commit to it, but
It's tough.
issues.
It's tough.
I
I
did it
feel
for
it.
like 7 months, like over 10 years ago, and it was great. But I failed at it, and every day I wish I could go back, but also I guess that means I don't really want to.
Sure.
I like it in concept, but I can't follow through.
You like it in concept, but you can't, not in practice.
I like bacon.
Yeah,
it's fair.
bacon's good. Bacon's good stuff. All right, but that's it. You have now completed the food for thought segment. Now it's time for our last segment. This is rapid fire questions.
Friendships will be tested. Rapid fire questions.
Just gonna speak from the heart. Just gonna shoot from the hip. Whatever the first thing that pops in your head, just roll with it. Y'all ready?
Hit me.
All right. Mountain Dew or Mellow Yellow?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Horror or comedy movies?
Comedy.
Comedy.
Now, this is the question Matt was talking about in the very beginning that he was excited about. What is the most random item you have within reach right now?
Guitar cable. Not that random. I'm in a room with. I can find something better. Oh, I got it. Go ahead, Chris. You might have something.
There's a lot to choose from. So, with can I move in the room, or is it within my reach right here?
I don't know, Matt. What do you think? Oh shit!
He got up for a giant cock. I think you can move.
Yeah, you can move. He got a giant cock.
You can.
I got
a
with the googly eye on it. Yeah, this is my grandma painted this rooster for me, and when I inherited it after she passed away, my wife was like, "That goes wherever you are and not anywhere else." So it's in the music room.
Fair.
I think my favorite part about that, while Chris looks for something, is that for our listeners who are only listening, all they heard was he grabbed a giant cock.
Yeah. And it's got a googly eye on it.
Got a googly eye.
Yeah.
It's more than a handful. It's quite large.
It was. There's definitely a grip. Two gripper.
All right, I think in just terms of like, why is this in here? I think I'm gonna go with this. It's a frisbee disc golf thing,
Okay.
Jimmy Bob.
That's fair.
And my friend Bree from Allegedly Records
Okay.
knows that I love orange, like neon orange shit. She was like, dude, I got an orange disc for you. And I was like, sweet. And then I met her at Streetlight Manifesto show like a year ago, and she gave me this. And I was like, what the fuck? That's not orange. And she was like, yeah, but it's freaking awesome. And I thought that, like, you should have this.
It's like a Rampage picture disc / frisbee disc.
Yes. Yeah. Like I know like frisbee golf is like the new like super cool thing. I don't know anything about it, but I have this thing here.
There we go.
That's awesome. I like it. I support this.
It was super thoughtful, like nice thing like for her to give me. And it makes me crack up every time I see it because it's hilarious looking.
Hell yeah. So let's move on. We got some more good questions here. So Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon?
Cartoon Network. I don't even need to think about it. When they did Adult Swim, it was on. That was like the best shit ever.
That's fair.
Say Nickelodeon just for sake of my youth.
Hell yeah.
And also,
I mean, they're both so iconic, and they both have such great like content. It's hard to pick.
and you always like, no one can ever forget Nick at Night either.
Snick at Night? No.
So what did they do?
What's on Nick at Night now? Like, I don't know. It's like Everybody Loves Raymond on there. Something that we like would say is like a more modern.
What used to be like Bewitched and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that shit's good stuff. So, all right, thin crust or regular crust pizza?
Regular.
Lindsay Lohan or Tara Reid?
Oh God.
Yeah.
How does one quantify that?
You gotta reach deep into your soul for this one.
I'm gonna say Lindsay Lohan. Because I feel like she would be fun to party with.
I mean, I think they both are pretty fun to party with.
Yeah, but I feel like with Tara, there's this certain like smug in the air that I wouldn't be able to deal with personally.
Okay.
All right.
Like,
I think I'd go with Lindsay Lohan too. I think she's from Long Island or was at one point or something.
Sure.
So not that I need you to be from Long Island, but she probably
It doesn't hurt.
yeah, she's from where I grew up. So like, and we're pretty close in age. So we probably dated at some point, I'm sure.
Fair. All right. Newfound Glory or MXPX?
MXPX.
MXPX.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I felt like you guys were MXPX guys.
He's a huge MXPX fan. I think if I had to pick, I probably saw Newfound Glory more than MXPX, but yeah, definitely MXPX. They've gotten better with age, honestly. Their new albums are
they're
amazing.
So good. They're both incredible bands.
Like the last two albums are just like, holy shit, this band is awesome. So they're gonna become like the new kings of punk rock.
We'll see. And I mean, this new album's great. All right, we have one last question, and this isn't an either or, but we're going to test your jingles knowledge. Can one of you sing for us the O'Reilly Auto Parts jingle?
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wow.
Did I time it right?
Yeah, it was great. That was perfect.
I'm impressed. You had me on that one.
Well, hell yeah, that's it. You did it. You finished the podcast. Really, all that's left, just let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you, and what's next.
We recorded a cover for a Discord tribute comp. We'll be putting out a Fugazi cover around for that. That will be pressed to vinyl, and our friend Greg from Celebration Summer is putting that all together. There'll be awesome tracks from like Ted Leo and Dismember Plan and some other awesome DC bands with DC ties. So super sick for that. As far as next year's planning goes, we're just kind of laying out our January through March. But we've been talking a little bit about doing our music festival, Break and Even Fest, that we put on next year. And then we'll probably be doing our best to get on the fest down in Florida. We skipped this year and focused on family and did lots of fun things with our kids. And it's time to get back and be a bunch of dumbass adults down in at fest. So hopefully Tony will have us back.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
You got anything else to add?
No, I was really hoping you were going to take that whole thing because I have no idea what we're doing.
And just working on some new music too. As mentioned earlier, Chris is pretty new, and we've been putting this folder together of ideas, and I'm sure that some of those ideas will become songs soon enough. So hopefully early next year we'll have some new music to play with a little bit of Chris's touch on it.
Hell yeah. And then for social media wise, just American television on everything.
Instagram's AMTV Band, YouTube's AMTV Band. You know what? Just go to Linktree American Television. It's pretty easy. Everything's linked on there.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, make sure you go check them out. If you haven't listened to them, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So go listen to American Television. And follow them on their social media, so that you can stay up to date with all the stuff that they're doing and you never miss anything. So, hell yeah. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Hell yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, the rest of y'all, you don't go anywhere. We're going to hop into the Unsigned Pop Punk News, and you'll hear that after this jingle right here. Yo, this is Comfy Pat, sitting in a comfy chair. And it's time for the Unsigned Pop Punk News. Wasn't that a great episode? I enjoyed it. How do you like my DVD collection? For those watching and for those listening, you don't get to see it. And shame on me.
You've listened to this far, just come to YouTube, watch the last little bit.
Sure, why not? But yeah, join us. Follow us on our social medias. And let's chat about all these episodes. And, hey, freaking season 4, Matt. What do you think?
We did it.
Season 4. It is a brand new year. This is the third.
We break norms here. We do.
Seasons
Seasons being 2 months long, no.
No, we season by the year, baby.
We season like you should season your chicken, liberally.
We season like we season our chicken by the year. Hell yeah. Well, we're pretty far into the future at this point. And I don't know what we have going on, but you can buy our gender equality shirts, and that's going to be donated to somebody. So you should do it. 15% of every purchase of our gender equality shirts or mugs or anything is going to be donated to a new charity. So we're going to be getting that all set up.
Yep.
So don't miss out on that.
Don't do
That's
it.
awesome.
Hey,
don't do it.
We haven't really said, let us know in the comments in Discord, in YouTube comments. I don't know. Write us a review on Spotify. What do you think about American television? Do you like American television? Are you more of a French television person? Because that's weird. You totally missed the point of the episode if that's what you're thinking right now. But let us know. Also, join our Discord. It is in the links.
Yeah, and it's just like join us wherever we are.
Yeah,
and because that's the fun. The fun is where we are because we bring it wherever we go.
You sometimes ask yourself, where did all my friends go? They're on Instagram and in the Discord. So you should join and find the friends.
Yeah, find your friends socially and on media. Okay, but that's it. That's the way the news goes. We love you. Thanks so much, Matt, for hanging out with me every day for this, or every week for this past year. It's been awesome. Thanks so much to the sweet gents from American Television for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Steve
and Chris, we appreciate you and things you're doing. So we look forward to what you're doing and your growth through the coming year. I'm stoked to see what y'all get up to. Thanks so much, Super Gibby. Thanks so much to Lawrence Crow and Ross from Electric Kiwi. And y'all, you hear me say it all the time. We love you. Thank all of you for being a part of Unsigned Pop Punk. And I'm going to go eat Chipotle now. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you so much to those of you who already are. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you stream your podcasts. If you're in the position to help us grow and like behind the scenes access and exclusive shows, head on over to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/unsignedpoppunk. Let us know in the comments who you'd like to see on the show and what other content you'd like to see. Thank you all so much.